Same. And why don't you tell us about Get Into Property and the PACE side of things, and what kind
so they're two different companies. So Get Into Properties, obviously over my career it's been the one. I've had the one company. It's not like I've had the two. I've always had the Get Into Properties been a joint venture, and it's been a consulting company. So we do a lot of joint venture trade deals through that, and we also do some high level consulting. So we put together deals for clients. I've done everything from small $500,000 houses right through to a $27 million deal, big land rezone projects and, apartment developments and things like that. I've bought them for clients. And so we sort of procure deals, find deals for people that are wanting to get into the market, people that don't have the time to go and do it. Obviously I'm out there all the time. So we find projects and we align them with the right buyers, or we might go into a joint venture with those guys. So that's to Get Into Property side. And then PACE is because of all the leaky homes and all of the problematic homes we've bought, we found a real need for, actual consultancy, a consultancy company that can actually resolve these issues, that actually know how to do the deals. Like there's a lot of consult companies out there that don't actually do the deals. It's all theory based. And so we set up that company to actually go and rectify, the problematic issues with homes across Auckland, because there's literally thousands of them. Leaky homes, houses, minor dwellings with no CCC, homes that have had illegal building works that need rectified, all these types of homes. We've started a company to go and do that because we were already doing it anyway. And so we were just like, when there's no one decent doing this, like builders there's a lot of builders out there that are great builders and great at construction, but they don't know that paperwork side with council and all the things that need to go through to actually rectify these issues. And that's where we can bridge the gap. Then we've got the construction arm alongside that does, and so we set up that for two reasons: was to solve issues in the market, but also to have our own construction and consultancy arm for our own project. And so it was like a two-tiered thing. It just made sense to go and do that. So that's why, so that they both sort of align together, but they are quite different in what they do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, if we get a chance to do a deal together, that'd be cool. So what are you following for industry trends and market developments? Like, tell me, do you watch videos, you're reading stuff? No.
To be honest, I don't do any of that.
Yeah, just talking to agents on the
I'm
ground
out in
stuff.
the market doing it. I don't listen to property podcasts. I don't listen to any of that crap because everyone's got their own perspective. I just go and do their deals, like there's plenty of, property coaching guys and stuff out there that are doing their thing, but I mean, it's not relevant unless they're in my market. There's broad information. I don't need to hear the broad information anymore. You go and study the market, you buy something undervalued, the finance things. I kind of know that because I'm living and breathing it every day. So to be honest, it's pretty simple. See, here's the thing. Like if someone's built a portfolio 20 years ago, that is no longer relevant to today.
Even 5 years ago.
Even 5 years ago, even when I started in 2009, we were buying houses in South Auckland for 200,000, 250,000. We were spending 50,000, and I was selling them to guys for like 350, and they were like 10 or 12% gross yields at that time.
Yeah, your return on equity is like 100, 200% some of those deals.
I could have just refinanced all of those houses and held them all if I had actually had that mindset at that point in time. So people that have built a portfolio in that phase of the market, that's not relevant today. You're dealing with a completely different beast. So how do you build a portfolio today?
Well, the financing side's so much different.
Oh, it's just so much more complicated.
Financing property investments, whether it's for hold or trade, complexity and the difficulty has just gone up and up and up in the last 2 or 3 decades from what I've seen. And certainly the caution of vendors for any creativity in deals has definitely been wound back. And by creativity, I mean around long settlements or early access or any vendor finance side of things has definitely harder to get from the vendor from what I've been reading and experiencing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about financing your deals at the moment, the ones that maybe you're not doing in the JV side of things, or do you just only do deals with cash, your own or other people's cash if that's what you need?
Well, that's what I've been doing from a trading point of view. I haven't personally traded anything with my own personal funding for quite some time now. I made the decision to do that because I wanted to.
You've been putting that money into buy and hold properties, really.
Yeah, so I wanted to put any of the extra money that I had into buying my own hold properties, and then also developing those further down the track. And obviously we bought a lifestyle block, and you've got to live a bit too.
Got to reward the family for the hard work and the time that you. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, man, but I don't have like a number of, like, for me, going and telling someone that I own 25 houses or 30 houses or whatever the number is, that's not honestly important to me, because it's not relevant. That might be relevant to someone. So everyone's situation is different, and so the comparison game is so important that you've just got to understand what your objectives are. I think I said this in an Instagram video I think I did yesterday. It's just so important to understand what is your objective that you're trying to achieve, and because that's your objective. So if someone else wants to own 30 houses in the provinces, or 27 houses, or 17, or whatever the number is, that's relevant to them, because that's what their strategy is for what they're trying to achieve with their life. Well, someone else's thing might be, they might just want to buy a couple of houses, to subsidise their...
It's like my book, man. 3 properties is all it takes.
Yeah, exactly. So some people might just want to buy 3 properties and to subsidise their retirement. Like, they might not want to retire at 45, or have freedom of choice. I think retirement is a really stupid word.
Time freedom. And financial freedom, it's like, what does that mean? It means time freedom and freedom to help the people that you love or want to help. Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to think about it? You just give 10 grand to the local sports team because they need a sponsor and they couldn't find anyone. Wouldn't it be nice even anonymously to donate that? And, all of it, you can go and watch a team of kids get to go on some trips and play some teams that wouldn't have, because of the 10 or 20 grand that you didn't even feel go out of your account. You just gave them the money.
Yeah, well, I've done that before. I'm going to give 4 grand to the local rugby club to go and pay for their jerseys, and I think I went and watched them play one game, and that was it. My company name was in the back of their jersey and all the rest of it. I didn't even think I got a jersey. It was like, it's good to do those things. My little boys just started going to school, so obviously there'll be things that come along through through my kids at school that they might require funding for something or support in something, and I can, subdue that, and also the other thing is I can take time out to go and do things if they require my physical time, where a lot of parents, they can't, unfortunately, because they're stuck in a job.
But with the right mindset and a little bit of hard work, it doesn't take long to get into a position where you do get the ability to spend your time in your own way.
No, it's only a handful of years. I mean, a lot can happen in 5 years. It's not 5 years is nothing.
So you've got this property portfolio that's your buy and hold portfolio. My understanding is you had a lot more properties spread around the place, and some of them they didn't have much future potential.
Yeah, we had our peak. We had 13 properties. 5 of those were in Invercargill. But, we sold a lot of the stuff down that had no development potential. And, in hindsight, would I have sold those houses, I probably should never have sold them.
Did you pay tax on the ones you'd held for ages?
I paid tax because I was tainted because I'm a trader. So but regardless of the tax, that's okay. I mean, it's more like those houses in Invercargill, they went up to like 450,000, say, and I think when I sold them, they were 250.
But that money went to other things, I'm sure.
Other things, and we've travelled extensively, and we've done a whole range of different things. And I haven't had a job. I've had freedom of time and choices for 15 years.
Yeah, and you've got this portfolio, Mangere Bridge, and a few other places, or no? What do you got planned?
Yeah, well, we're just deciding what we're going to do with our sites in Mangere Bridge. We're going to unsure exactly what we're going to do. We might keep the 2 existing home and incomes and build 6 or 8 on the back, or we might move one of the homes and build 10, or we might remove both existing and build 16.
Well, just get Blandon to do spreadsheets for you.
So I've just been I haven't pushed go on any of that. I was waiting for the Auckland Council to sort of sort themselves out with the new regulations and stuff. So the architect and I sort of said we'll just wait to see what the outcome is of that before we push go. And then we've got another block, we're going to build 9 2 bedrooms on, and that will happen as well. So there's stuff happening. So in between those 2 properties, there's about 20 odd, it could be 20 plus houses.
Yeah, I mean you're 38, you got another 20 plus years of deep property investing in you, but if you wanted it, and even more.
I think if I go and accumulate another couple of sites like that, and you can build, say, 10 on each side, I mean, geez, how much do you need?
You're running into that mindset again of how much is enough and getting closer every day.
But my thinking has definitely changed more towards that part, that wealth creation, holding aspect more now. I think I value my time more now that I've got little kids, and man, they just grow up so fast, and I just want the next few years I want to be there with them and spending time with them.
That's what success in property investing is all about, is firstly, you've got yourself into a position where you can decide to do what you want. A lot of people don't have that. And now you've got the greatest challenge of all is you can do whatever you want. And so you've got, what are your options? There are so many.
Oh, there's no limit.
and a lot of those ability to choose is because you have the passive income, you have the skills to be able to do deals. But if you lost everything, I don't think it'd be very long until you had $1 million again. Certainly, if you started from zero today and I said you needed to have $1 million in cash in 12 months' time, you'd be able to do it because of the skills that you've got. And the mentality, yeah. And, certainly I remember you mentioning Rich Dad, Poor Dad as a book that helped set you on a pathway. And, okay, well, what is the key message from the book is around mindset and a shift of mindset. A lot of the examples in there are made up, but...
Well, it's a story.
Story, yeah.
And it's a story that gives perspective. It's like the traditional 9 to 5. Well, it's effectively it's
parables almost.
Well, it's a bit of a scam, really, what the mainstream society is doing. I mean, people think, we need medical people, we need, professional people, lawyers, accountants, things like that. But, there's a bulk of the stuff that gets taught in the traditional education system that's a complete waste of time. And unfortunately, financial acumen is not taught from a young age. You look at how we're starting kids off at school. I mean, we're sending kids to school, then we're sending them, to university, and they're going into debt at the beginning of their career.
Without financial acumen.
Without any financial, they're not getting told that, okay, you're going to accumulate this $150,000 student loan or whatever it is, and then you're stuck in New Zealand until you pay that off. It's just ridiculous. Why are we teaching people that stuff? Anyway, that's another whole subject. But for me, when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I started, I'm what you call, I suppose, a dreamer. I've always been a dreamer. That's everything that I focus on in my life is about where I'm going and what I'm trying to achieve. I've never really got caught up in what I do. I've always gone, well, if I spend time on that particular thing, like property, for example, is it going to reward me for my time spent? And the answer was yes. If I go and do another business, is my time spent in that going to help me achieve my goal? So everything is all about the dreams and the goals and the objectives that I'm trying to achieve. It's not about what I do. People go and say things like, oh, I really love what I do, and like in regards to their job. And I say, well, if your job stopped paying you, would you still turn up? And they say no. I say, well, you don't love your job. You love the money that your job pays you.
And hanging out, you can have fun with the people you're with and helping the clients that you help, but you need to make money too.
You need to make money, and so if you're in an employment situation, you can never make more money than your employer. So unless you go and do investing and stuff on the side, and you've got people that are in your corner that are going to guide you and give you that advice. Like, your job is just going to pay the bills. You're investing and the other stuff you do on the side is going to create your life. The job is only ever going to pay the bills. That's it.
This is what I tell the guys at work here, Mortgage HQ, Wealth HQ. A lot of them are very ambitious. They have big financial goals. It's what we encourage. And the confusion, I think, comes when they think that they need to go on their own to create, for example, a business or a bigger income to be able to build financial freedom. And it's not quite the right mindset, because a lot of money, from my point of view, made in investing or through opportunities is by contracting properties for below their value and either creating value yourself through renovation or development, or wholesaling that or flipping it on to someone else. You can make a lot of money through property contracting, getting something under, like getting a deal done. And you can do that when you're an employee. You don't have to take all the risks of being self-employed. You got to do all your own marketing, your own admin, your own legal. If you're a salesperson or you're a marketer, you can achieve a lot as an employee.
Oh, 100%. It's just having the right education.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you have to understand as an employee how you bring the business you work for value and how to maximize the value you bring for that business, and then to demand your fair share of it. And if you are getting paid, for example, $150,000 and you're wanting to be paid $200,000, all you really have to do is prepare a compelling argument to the business owner of why you deserve that extra $50,000. And if they don't give it to you, it's either you weren't compelling, like persuasive enough, which those skills can be learned, or two, the value that you're saying that you're bringing, you're not actually bringing, of which you need to go back to the drawing board and figure out actually how can you deliver the value that you're getting your fair share. If you've done all of that and you're not getting what you need, then, find somewhere else to work or start your own business.
And it's like when I started, I had no no value. Like I had value as a person, but my experience was pathetic.
Before you started doing the
all the trading and all the different things, where now, because I've done hundreds of transactions and I've been there and done that, now there's a value because of the experience that I've obtained. It's the same in the job.
Well, you think about how many industries with zero money can you create value. In property, you can talk to an agent, you can get a property under contract, and you can on-sell that contract and make a profit. Now, how much does it cost? Just your time. You could do that in a couple hours with no money. There's not many other things you can do to create that much money in a short amount of time that brings that much value to the market. So property is the thing that shifts the needle for most people. You just need to figure out those key skills.
Yes, it's like people have often over the years been like, can you I get people messaging, they're like, can you coach me? And I'm like, well, no, I can't, because it's like, if I said to you, so this is what I say to them, if I said to you, I'm going to charge you $70,000 for 6 months to coach you, what are you going to say? And you're going to say, that's really expensive. And I'm going to say, okay, what about in that 6 months if I help you do 5 deals and you made $350,000? Is that 70,000 a lot of money to invest? If I actually, because this is why I don't do it. Yeah, that's why I don't actually do that coaching like that, because it would have to be at a minimum that type of level of.
Yeah, well, it's opportunity cost for you as well. You can do that deal yourself.
Well, I can go and do one deal and make that. Well, now I've got to hold some guy's hand and go through the process and deal with all the emotions of them not being able to make a decision, where I can just go out there and make a decision, find a deal, do the deal, and then be done with it. And that's why I do what I do with Get Into Property. I just go out there instead of waste, people, some people just don't have it. Some people don't have it in them to go out there and go through the rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection to try and find a deal.
And you might actually have to make 50 offers before you get one to stick.
Well, 100%, that's exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people forget that you might have to do 100 property offers to get 25 of them to be in negotiation, to get 10 of them where you're under contract, and to get one of them to stick.
You might get 2 or 3 that you might have a crack at, and one's an absolute ripper and the other 2 are average.
Yeah, and it might take you the whole year spending a couple hours a week doing it, or 10 hours a week doing it. But if you get to that 1 out of 100, you might make 200 grand. But most people do it for a week or 2, and they're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you get the one to stick, it's $500 an hour that you're getting paid right now.
Yeah, and people go and say, oh, well, so you go and do a deal and you charge them 50 grand, 60 grand consult fee or something to go and put the deal together. And it's like, well, in their mind, because it's scarcity, they're like, that's a lot of money. So, well, no, well, you're picking up $250,000, $300,000 equity
off the back of your 15 years experience.
Yeah, and so they forget, people think way too small. It's like, I've always paid people, I've gone to Grant Cardone events, I've gone to Tony Robbins events, I've paid for business consulting, I've paid, $6,000 a month in business consulting and got it, paid for experience. That's the only reason I've got to where I've been able to get to, is by paying money to people that had more experience than me. I mean,
that's definitely the shift that I think a lot of people, they hold back on for so long, is paying for quality value advice. And the thing that I've been quite lucky is that I have never been afraid to pay for quality education and advice. And I heard a good Tom Panos quote last night. I saw him. Somebody was trying to negotiate on his fee.
Yeah, I seen that too.
Tom Panos says, look, my fee is not based on how much you can afford, based on the value I bring.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's what I mean about that whole coaching and doing the deal analogy. It's like some people just don't understand. I think there's a lot of dreamers out there. Like, I mean, it's good to be a dreamer, but there's, dreamers that will never make it. And because they're not willing to pay the price that's required to be actually good at something. And it takes significant time and effort to become good at something. And I think I've mentioned before, like I do the mountain biking thing since 2019 until today. Been banging away at it. I'm still not even that good at it. Since 2019, 5 or 6 sessions a week, just absolutely punishing myself to still be average. It's like...
Yeah, on the premise that in 10 years' time, you might be quite proud of where you're getting to.
Well, I've come a long way, but from where I started, so I am proud from that point of view, but there is no destination.
Yeah, enjoy the journey. No matter
enjoy
how
the process of it. And it sucks, sometimes, this process that you have to go through. And, last year, you take a few losses and you have a few, challenging things with materials and projects that's been delayed and all the different things that have happened. I mean, you don't want that to happen, but it's just part of life.
One thing I like to do is to get you back once a month or once a quarter, get some questions from our audience and from our lists that we can even talk about maybe some specific deals. So you're on YouTube? Or
Yeah, I am kind of on
Instagram,
YouTube.
Facebook better?
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook, yeah.
Cameron Stewart or Cam Stewart or Get Into Property or
Get Into Property, like get in the numerical number 2, Property Limited.
on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, on Facebook and Instagram. And then I think my personal Instagram's like Cameron Cameron Stewart 1984 or something.
What's your PACE website?
Our PACE website is www.propertyaadvice.co.nz, and my Get Into Property website is www.getin2property.co.nz.
Oh, look, man, we really enjoyed having you at our award ceremony the other week. You spoke for 20 minutes. I'm sure you could easily spoke for hours. There's lots of stories. Everybody was really engaged, so appreciate you coming along, man, and hope to see more of you. So don't forget to comment and subscribe on the Leverage Addicts podcast on Spotify and on YouTube. Thanks.